So Alexander Dugin is one of the top aides to Vladimir Putin. He's like a kind of an Ur-fascist, and he's the actual like pinnacle of what Nazbol means. He's so okay. How do I put this? Okay, you know how in media you'll have a supervillain who is basically Hitler. But then when you fight through their minions and get to the top of the gigantic castle dragon they've built in the sky for the final showdown with them, and they're doing their like villain monologue, they explain that they're not actually like interested in racial bias or anything like that, that they actually want to unify all the world under a single flag so people may finally live in peace and harmony, and they want to return to tradition so they can abandon alienating modernity and allow people to live. That's Dugin, okay? Alexander Dugin claims to not be racist and is rather in favor of a kind of pan-ethnic Eurasian empire. The line with him is not... I guess I should say that, like, the ways in which he reps for fascism are distinctly different from the ways in which most Westerners rep for fascism. Here's what he looks like. As we can see, low-T soy boy. Unimpressive, but, you know.
Go ahead, Mr. Trump. In Trump, we trust.
Meet the man who has been dubbed Putin's brain. Ultra-conservative philosopher and TV personality Alexander Dugin is a champion of Russian nationalism. And he says President Trump is on the same wavelength.
As long as I could...
That was great. In all seriousness, this is actually a big deal. Dugin is like is essentially the premier philosopher behind Putin's regime, and the strongest ideological advocate for the principles of pan-Eurasianism and Russian nationalism. Basically, he takes Russian nationalism and all the militarism loaded behind it, and he justifies it in a kind of pseudo-humanitarian, realpolitik. The only way to prevent fighting is to become a hegemon, and the only way to become a hegemon is through this glorious, like, ethnically homogenous, or sorry, ethnically heterogeneous, like, ultra empire. I think he also does do the actual like return to tradition stuff, right? Like, literally. I think he's spoken positively of feudalism, in the sense of, like, we would be better off if we lived in that environment. He really commits to the bit, you know. You know who else committed to the bit? His daughter, pictured somewhere in this photo of a flaming car. Yeah, somebody tried to car bomb Alexander Dugin and caught his daughter instead. Don't feel bad. His daughter's just as bad. She is a journalist who reps his ideology and promotes fascist ideology for the Russian state. She's a state operative. She's it's ideologically monstrous. Yeah, editor-in-chief. Not like you know, not some like just, you know, she wants to like live a quiet life and get away from her dad in the association. No. Fully complicit up there. Yeah, and she got murked. There's a video of his live reaction to her death. Nothing not safe for work. That's fucking grim. I hate these people, and I'm still not entirely sure I want to see the live reaction of a dad realizing his daughter is dead. Jesus Christ. Daughter of Russian nationalism ideologist Alexander Dugin confirmed killed in car explosion in Moscow. Video earlier from the sea with Dugin stuff. I'm just going to assume that he's sad about it. Do it? Okay, fine. Real shit then. Fine. This is beyond my capacity for schadenfreude. Oh, that's him, right there. I'm pretty sure he was just like, that could have been me at first. Is that true? I would need a source on that. If the first thing he said upon realizing his daughter was dead was, that could have been me, that would bring some much needed levity to this situation. It was for him. I know it was directed at him, but still. Wild. Is Dark Dugin happening right now? Who done it, you think? Well, I mean, the most likely answer is probably a Ukrainian operative in Russia, or more likely just a sympathetic protester. Just anyone who, you know. Ukraine is denied responsibility. Of course Ukraine would deny responsibility on this. There's no shot Ukraine, even if it was an operative theirs, would ever accept responsibility for a car bomb. It was probably a protester or a sympathetic to Ukraine Russian citizen or anything, you know, anything like that. It could be any number of those things. Bad day. Bad day for Russia, I have to say. There's hard belief that it was an inside job. Oh, another possible explanation is that given the fact that Dugin is basically like the ideological core of Putin's Russian militarism, if there are more moderates in the oligarchical cabinet in the Kremlin, it's possible that by killing Dugin, they feel like they could signal to Putin that the time for this like insane warmongering is over. That's a possible explanation, that it might have been like a moderate in job as a way of trying to like pull power away. Not very moderate to murder someone. Yeah, by moderate here, I mean they don't want Putin to drag the world into nuclear war. I don't mean moderate as in like the American like Democrat moderate type. You know, a slightly less insane would be the would be the driver there. Interesting stuff. Won't this make it worse? Dugin was spared, his daughter was killed. And it's difficult to say. It could go a lot of directions, a lot of ways. It's obviously an inside job. The CCTV in the parking lot where a car was before the bombing were not working. Is that true? They disabled the CCTV beforehand? Well, there are ways you could do that without it being like an inside job. We'll wait on details. I don't want to speculate too much about a conspiracy or a plot, because I know like nothing about this. I mean, like we don't. It was a planned assassination. We don't know that much, so I don't want to you know, run off here. Yeah, here. Darya Dugina has been outspoken in her support of Russia's war against Ukraine, as evidence began to pile up in April of Russian war crimes in the Kyiv suburb of Bucha. Dugina argued in an interview the slaughter of civilians had been staged, bizarrely claiming the U.S. had chosen the city because in English the name sounds like butcher. She was also sanctioned by the U.S. government in March in connection with her role in a Kremlin-run influence operation known as Project Lakhta. So just to let you guys know, like this, like she was fully in it, you know. As far as I'm concerned, ideologically, this is equivalent to like a propagandist for the German government getting murked after they invaded Poland. I'm not going to shed a single fucking tear over this, you know. In loving memory of Darya, she is a true Russian girl, Bushilin wrote. So true. Ukraine denied involvement in the bombing. Ukraine clearly has nothing to do with yesterday's bombing because we are not a criminal state like the Russian Federation, even more so not a terrorist state, Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak said, winking. You see how big mad this bitch is? Oh yeah, I saw Lauren Southern. Of course, like fascists, it used to, like fascists may be nationalists, generally speaking, but fascists have always prioritized fascism over nationalism. You know what I mean? Like, don't you guys think it's kind of weird how Germany was all like Aryan supremacy, and then they ally with Italians who are black and the Japanese who are Japanese, and then like they get along there, and then like instantly the German government and their scientists have to make a bunch of apologetics and explanations. You know what I mean? You understand what I mean, right? Authoritarians in one country tend to get along with authoritarians in other countries. So, like, Trump gets along with Bolsonaro, gets along with Boris Johnson. I mean, like, there tends to be sort of like a unifying element there, even if they're isolationist. Just authoritarians tend to like authoritarians. They get along. All employees working in Ukraine's capital government quarter have now been told to work from home this whole week, according to Ukrainska Pravda. The Ukrainians are concerned about retaliation. So they're having all their employees work from home so that if anyone bombs the government building, it doesn't take out any innocents.